Completed 4 years of a bachelor's degree in nutrition, and I'm currently working on my master's, but I will still need to do a supervised internship in order to become a registered dietitian. So that's where I am in my credentials. And what I do for UGA Dining Services, I update all of the nutrition information on our website. You can find it all at Build Your Plate, which is super easy to find if you just go to dining.uga.edu. All of the nutrition information and ingredient information is available for everything served in the dining halls. We also do some nutrition education, obviously, like this, but with some posters or table advertisements. And I also lead a student team who does all of the groundwork for us. So they're all currently getting their bachelor's degrees in dietetics. So that's a little bit about what I do.
All right, thank you so much. And some of the services that you're entitled to on the meal plan is this class, and some nutrition counseling, which I already mentioned, and then educational materials, which I'll show you examples in a little bit. But now we're going to turn the time over to Betsy so that she can introduce herself, because she's going to be also helping with this class.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Catherine. So I think Mariah mentioned it when she was talking about her dietetic credentials, but I am in the dietetic internship now, on my way to becoming a registered dietitian as well. I came to UGA as a PhD student only, and then got to join the dietetics crew. So I'm really excited. And so the first thing about me is that I am in my second year of my PhD, and I'm working with Dr. Cooper, who runs the Human and Nutrition Lab. So in the lab, if you want to click to the next picture, Catherine, I do a lot of cool stuff. So this is a picture of me with an assay where we are measuring levels of triglycerides in the blood to look at how things change after you have a meal. So we get to do a lot of fun stuff in the lab. If you want to click again. I also get to use an ultrasound for my research to look at how diet influences your arteries. So it's really fun research, really hands-on, but I'm learning a lot. And it's kind of informing my passions in dietetics. So if you want to click again. Oh, that's me. So I, in addition to geeking out on vascular and cardiovascular health, I also love nutrition, and that's really what drew me to the field of dietetics. And so as a dietetic intern, I work with Catherine right now, and I'm just absorbing everything that she does at the dining hall. And we have been working on updating things on the Build My Plate, and I've been learning about food allergies, and there's just so much to learn as a dietetic intern. So I've been really enjoying my time with UGA Dining and with Catherine. But outside of research, I think that's the last picture for me, but outside of research, I do love cooking and using the nutrition things that I do know to inform what I buy at the grocery store. And then my partner Leland and I, we also do really like to get outside, and that's what we've been really loving about Georgia. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Betsy. So it's a good introduction about who we are and what we do on campus, and how there's a really strong nutrition team here in Dining Services, and I'm really happy to be able to lead that team and work with all these wonderful students, and Mariah as a dietetic technician. And her position is pretty unique because she's actually one of the only dietetic technicians in the whole nation that works at a college or university. Most of the time they're in hospitals. So it's really great to be able to have her expertise and to be able to have her work on food nutrition analysis for us. We have I have to brag on Georgia. We have one of the strongest departments in the nation, and how we report our allergen and nutrition information online, and we have been for several years. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of what it used to look like and where we are now, and then how that you can use that tool as a resource to help you have a balanced plate. So we're going to talk about several different things in this presentation. We're going to talk about how to fuel, what balanced nutrition is, give you some meal ideas, give you some steps for healthy eating, and talk a little bit about moderation and portions and how you can incorporate all of that into a well-balanced diet. And so my first question is, which of the following are important elements of a healthy eating pattern? Focusing on variety, nutrient density, and amount, decreasing intake of sugar from whole fruit sources, supporting healthy eating patterns for all, limiting carbs to less than 10% of calories per day, or all of the above. And you can go ahead and just throw it in the chat, whatever you feel. Okay, I see some people starting to answer. Oh yeah, and I did forget to mention the t-shirt, so thank you for Mariah. I see that you put that, so make sure you put your name in the chat, and because every time you come, we're recording your attendance so that you can get your free t-shirt at the end. Okay, so we have a lot of A's, we have quite a few E's, so the answer is going to be actually A. You don't have to limit your carbs to just less than 10% of the calories per day. You actually want carbohydrates to be the bulk of what you eat. And so a diabetic diet where we would keep the carbohydrates low would be 45 to 55% of calories from carbohydrates. And so if you see the very extreme keto diets that want you to have 10% or less, you can see how much of an extreme that is, because a healthy diabetic diet only has to have 45% of calories. If they're really out of control with their blood sugars, we usually put them at 45% of calories from carbs. So carbs should actually make up the bulk of our diet. And then you don't have to decrease intake of sugar from whole fruits. You want to decrease it from added fruit. So that's a bit of a trick question. We'll talk about that. And then nutrient variety is really, really important. Getting different types of foods, and we'll talk about nutrient density today too. And of course, we do want to support healthy eating patterns for all. That is really important too. So the first thing we're going to want to do is kind of look at healthy eating patterns for your entire lifespan. So most students in college are between 18 and 30 years old. There's exceptions, but usually most students fall between that range. And the needs of 18 and 30 are pretty unique because you're still technically growing in your skeletal frame. So even though you might be as tall as you're going to be, and you might be developing the body or filling out or getting curves, those things will happen as you're 18 to 20. But up until you're 30, you're actually making your bones as dense as you can for the rest of your life. And so you're still growing in terms of bone mineral density. And so nutrition is really important for all stages. You want to focus on a different variety of foods and not just eat the same thing over and over, because not only can that be boring, but it can also lead to some nutrient deficiencies. It could be very healthy foods that you're eating every day, but if you're only getting an apple all the time, apples aren't super high in vitamin C. So if you switch it out with an orange, you're going to get some vitamin C and some folic acid. If you put a banana in there, you're going to get a special type of fiber that the healthy bacteria in your gut like to live on. You're also going to get some really good potassium, and then you put berries into the mix and you're going to get antioxidants that are fantastic for fighting against cancer and really benefit the brain health. So you've got all these different reasons to eat different foods, not just eat the same one. Even it might be a very healthy food, you want variety. We do want to limit added sugar. So that doesn't mean we have to limit sugar that comes naturally in food. So if it's naturally there, like a banana, you don't have to limit that. What we're talking about is how much sugar we're adding to foods. And most of the time in the American diet, we find it in processed foods at the grocery store and sometimes in fast food. So we'll talk about that as the course goes on too. So we also have to encourage people to kind of shift their behavior. You don't have to do like a completely, 180. Just kind of think about like, well, could I tweak something? Like, am I getting fruit every day? Do I eat vegetables every day? When's the last time I had a good calcium source? We're going to talk about some food groups, and you can think about those things so that you can try to shift and say, okay, well, maybe this week I could try in this one goal. You're also going to want to, hold on a second. Feels like it. There we go. Support a healthy eating pattern for all. So no matter what type of background you come from, the types of foods and flavors that you love, or if you have a certain dietary preference of you're more plant-based, or maybe you're vegetarian, or maybe you have a certain medical need, we want to make sure that all of that incorporates into a healthy, balanced diet. So we have our food groups, fruits and vegetables. We want to make up half of our plate. So the real kind of basics is, okay, that means that every meal I should have a fruit or a vegetable on my plate, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the reason why is they're really high in fiber, they're lower in calories, but they're very high in vitamins and minerals. And so that's what we call nutrient dense. If the food has tons of nutrients for a little volume, like broccoli or an orange, then it's nutrient dense. On the flip side, if you have something like soda, very high in calories, lots of sugar, no vitamins, no minerals, no fiber, no antioxidants, and that's called calorie dense. So we don't want a lot of calorically dense foods, we want nutrient dense foods. And then for whole grains, our grains, we want to try to make at least half the grains you eat all day a whole grain. So whole grains can be, well, I'll go into more detail in just a second, actually. But you want to make sure that you're getting throughout the day a balance there. And then dairy, it needs to be some sort of calcium and protein source. So maybe you don't drink milk or cow milk. Maybe you're allergic, maybe you're vegan, maybe you just don't like it. You might have a personal reason why you don't want dairy or don't like dairy. Then you can consider doing almond milk, soy milk, pea protein milk, oat milk. The best ones are going to be, well, I'll talk about the best ones in just a second. And then protein, once again, you have different types, plant-based or from animal protein sources, but you need to have some type of protein on your plate. So for whole grains, we're talking about incorporating the entire grain. So that means the bran, the endosperm, and the germ. And so I put that picture up there so you can see the different parts and see what we're talking about. So white grains are great at just being really, really fluffy. The reason they started taking off the outside bran and the germ is because white bread or white grains that turn into white bread are just really fluffy. They're easy to chew. And up until about the last 50 years, people's dental hygiene wasn't the best. And so people didn't have good teeth. And so if you talk to people 100, 150 years ago, they would tell you that white bread was the best invention because you don't have to chew it. You literally just have to gum it and kind of suck it down. And so nutritionally, if you are not eating well because you can't chew, it's like the best invention ever. And so they would actually have like hills of grains where they take a guy on a sled and he'd slide down the hill like it was snow. And that rotating motion would take the bran and the germ out of the whole grain. And that was someone's job before we came out with, factories that could do these things. But what we found over time is when you take away those parts of the grain, you miss a lot of vitamins and minerals and protein and antioxidants. And so whole grains help you stay full longer. They're more nutrient dense. They help protect against heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and they are a great way to incorporate into your diet. So we're talking whole wheat bread, whole grain cereals, brown rice, wheat pasta, wheat tortilla, quinoa, oatmeal. If you don't like some of those foods, maybe you love white rice and you're not crazy about brown rice, it's okay. You don't have to eat 100% whole grains. You just want half. So maybe for breakfast, you have some oatmeal, and then for lunch, you have the white rice. And then for dinner, maybe you get sandwich on whole wheat bread. So you just have to kind of go back and forth, and you're meeting the recommendation. We know that just one serving of whole grain per day can help prevent your risk of getting heart disease. So fruits and vegetables, colorful, all those colors means different antioxidants and minerals and vitamins that they can provide for our body. And antioxidants are able to reduce inflammation in our body. They help fight disease, help fight diabetes, help prevent cancer. And they can actually improve our mood or make our memories better. And because they have fiber, they keep us fuller and satisfied longer. Lean protein sources are things like fish, eggs, beans, almonds, walnuts. When it comes to beans, even if you're not vegetarian, it's recommended that everyone have at least 2 servings of beans every single week. And the reason why is they have a specific type of fiber that can help lower your cholesterol. So beans help prevent heart disease by keeping our cholesterol in check. So we should have beans at least twice a week. And it could be your protein for that meal, or it could be because you just added beans on top of a salad or on top of, get a rice, a burrito bowl, or maybe you just wanted to have a little bit on top of brown rice on the side with the rest of your dinner. Eggs are great sources of protein. They have certain nutrients that you just can't get anywhere else, like choline. And fish, great for fighting inflammation, fantastic for our memories. So all of these sources are just really great sources to try to incorporate into our diet. Lean protein is another way to help protect our immune system. And when you're shopping for lean protein, you want to look for the words like loin, chuck, flank, and round. So chuck round or flank steak. All of those means whether it's a pork loin or if it's sirloin, all of those words mean that it's a leaner cut of meat. Healthy dairy sources would be anything that's low fat. So milk, soy milk would be fantastic, yogurt, cheese, cottage cheese. Those are really great sources of like protein and calcium. And what we're looking for are those two things. So unfortunately, rice milk, almond milk, there's no protein. They're just calcium. It's basically calcium water. And that's fantastic. You know, it's a good source of calcium and we can use that when we're baking or cooking or in our cereal, but we're not going to get as much protein. So if you eat protein throughout your day and you have almond milk, no big deal. But if you really aren't getting a lot of protein and you're depending on almond milk, you have to realize there's not protein in there unless you're buying the specially fortified protein almond milk. And that's pretty hard to find at the stores right now. But soy milk and pea protein milk have protein and calcium. So those are healthier choices depending on what your needs are. But if you are, say you eat meat for lunch and dinner, you have chicken and some fish, it's okay. You can have that almond milk. You don't really need the cow milk or the pea protein milk. You don't need the protein there. You can just worry about the calcium source. So different needs for different people. So healthy fats are things like nut butters, peanut butter, nut, any type of nut, all nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecans, any type of seeds. So sunflower seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, olive oil, olives, guacamole, salmon, fatty fish like tuna, all of those things are able to have good sources of heart healthy fats, and they're good sources of antioxidants like vitamin E. They help decrease our cholesterol. They help boost the good cholesterol, the healthy cholesterol. And Betsy's going to talk about that more next week. And it also helps decrease our risk for heart disease. The other things that are really beneficial to brain health are different types of nutrients. So we have like omega-3s, we have yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, all those fermented foods we know help benefit gut bacteria, which actually has a nice interaction with our brains to help fight inflammation and improve our memory and actually decrease anxiety. Spices like curcumin, ginseng, ginkgo, different fruits like blueberries and cherries, vegetables, fiber, getting enough sleep, certain vitamins and minerals are able to make sure that we're concentrating and thinking and have a good recall and a good mood. And then specifically, there's some really good research lately on getting fermented foods like sauerkraut and yogurt, but also things like kefir. And the reason I put it up here is sometimes people don't know what I'm talking about when I say kefir. This is just one brand. You don't have to buy Lifeway kefir. It's just something that you could look for. It's a sour yogurt drink that you drink that has a lot of it's been fermented, so it has a lot of bacteria, but the healthy bacteria in it. And when we're able to drink those things or eat a bunch of sauerkraut or kimchi, you get the good bacteria in your gut. And then the key is, in order to keep that healthy gut bacteria alive, you need to feed it fiber. So you could drink yogurt or eat yogurt all you want, but if you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, that bacteria in your yogurt is not going to last very long in your gut. You have to feed it the right foods to keep it alive. And if you eat a diet that's super high in like sugar, then the bad bacteria love sugar and they'll grow with a junky diet and a lot of sugar. But the healthy bacteria really like to grow by eating fruits and vegetables. And there's some good studies out there showing that it can help, that fermented foods can help with memory, anxiety, depression, and even help some people lose some weight or maintain a healthy weight. Other things for brain health, you have a certain part of your brain called the hippocampus. That should say short-term memory, not shirt, sorry. And what it really is responsible for is memory and spatial awareness. And the healthier your diet, the better the hippocampus works, and it can actually increase in size. And we know that if you eat a lot of fried foods and foods that are really high in saturated fats and added sugars, the hippocampus will actually shrink. And we know the way to get it better is to make sure to get some of the fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and then fish. And that can help keep the hippocampus running optimally. So we have some resources in the dining halls that can help you. To be able to navigate the dining halls and know how to eat healthy. So we have nutrition education stations. We have myself, as well as the other people in the nutrition meet team. We also have the peer nutrition educators, which are senior dietetic majors that I train to help me promote healthy messaging across campus. And I'm going to give you their contact information at the end so that you can kind of see what they're doing on social media, and you can see the tips that they offer students for how to eat healthy. They also do presentations for student groups. We also have Build Your Plate online, which we'll go over in a minute, and some nutrition labeling. So when it comes to nutrition labeling in the dining hall, we keep it really simple on the line. We put all the nutrition information online in super detail, but when you're at the station, we just keep it pretty simple, and we have a few symbols. The heart means that it's heart healthy, and then you're going to have the green leaf, which means that it's vegetarian or meatless. And then we have the vegan symbol, which is V and yellow. And that means no animal products, and that means including honey or eggs or milk. So no animal products whatsoever. And then that blue house you see on the first menu tag, that means that someone's mom or dad or uncle or whoever in their family or support group from home submitted a recipe on that student's behalf. We have a Taste of Home competition every year. It's going on right now. So if there's someone in your support group that cooks something really great that you just love, you should call them up and say, hey, I want you to submit that recipe to the dining halls for me. And what they do is they just say, this is the recipe, this is the student's name, this is why they love it. And then all the chefs are going to get together and they're going to go through those recipes and they're going to pick the top however many, and then they're going to feature them in the dining hall for lunch or dinner on April 21st this spring. And so you'd be able to see your favorite smoothie recipe or whatever it was featured in the dining halls. And then everyone who wins gets like a special plate that says like Taste of Home. And then the next school year, if you're on the meal plan, you can see the Taste of Home symbol and know, hey, that's my mom's cappuccino brownie. We submitted that recipe. All right, so true or false, prior to 2012, UJ Dining Services had a huge binder in the dining halls containing nutrition information. So you can go ahead and put that in the chat. What do you think? Yeah, lots of true. Yeah, so yeah, that is true. We did, and I will actually show you a picture. It's this giant binder. So when I first started working at UGA, they did not report nutrition information whatsoever. And I was like, hey, that's like, why not? Like, we need to do that. Like people, I mean, even fast food restaurants are putting information online back then. So I was like, we need to do that in the dining hall. And so this was our first project, and we were able to print it and put it in these huge binders, and you'd flip through. So every dining hall had their own book, and then you flip through by station. So you're like, oh, I had, stir fry today. You flip to the stir fry section and go through all, 21 weeks, or not 21 weeks, 21 days of the cycle menu to find the item that you wanted. And then it would tell you nutrition and allergens. Well, a few years later, luckily, we were able to get all of this online. And so now it's on your phone. And so if you've never done this before, go ahead and take out your phone, and you need to go to UGA Dining, or you can do it on your laptop if you want to. And you just go to UGA Dining Services. And then once you type that into your phone or your browser, you're able to see there's a heart symbol, and it says, build your plate. And that's what you click on. And it's really great for planning ahead your meals. You're able to look at the menu 10 days in advance. And it gives you information on allergens. And you can see right here on the phone, it has a picture. You see the V for vegan, but it also has like a little wheat symbol. That means that the veggie burger has wheat in it. Or GF means that it's gluten-free. So we have the egg. Under the white barbecue sauce, you see an egg symbol. That means there's an egg allergy. And so you're able to kind of go through, and if you have allergens, it helps you. If you're looking for heart healthy, you can see that heart really easily. If you're looking for vegan items, you're able to go through and find those things. And you're also able to click on the menu item name. So if you click on, say, the Angus beef hamburger patty, that's when it pulls up all the nutrition information, and then it has the allergen alert, and then underneath that, it's got all the ingredients. And so you're able to flip through and find the information that you need. In the dining halls, we also have education stations, and we have brochures out, and we usually have recipe cards. We don't have the recipe cards really this year because they don't really apply because of COVID and how the stations are set up, and you can't really serve yourself. They're not as helpful. Usually what we do is we say, hey, you really want to make something healthy? Why don't you make apple nachos? So we have an example, and we'll say, all right, go through the dining hall, and you can get an apple and slice it yourself, and then top it with granola and the raisins and the nuts. And a lot of those things are just either not out, or they're in different locations and you can't serve yourself. And so that's one of the things that we hope to bring back next school year, but we'll wait and see what the guidelines are. And even if the guidelines were very similar to this year, we're hoping to still bring some more services to you, which I'll talk about a couple of those in just a few more minutes. But you're also able to get those, look at nutrition posters, and there's iPads so that you can use Build Your Play if your phone died. So some steps for eating healthy is we're going to focus on like meal ideas. Okay, so breakfast, you know, it's really important. It's going to help you have cognitive functioning. Studies show that it helps people concentrate better. It helps them problem solve. It helps them not be distracted by feeling hungry. And it can boost your energy at the beginning of the day. In the dining halls, we have different healthy options, the fresh fruit, fruit cups, the fruit that are sliced for you. And we also have applesauce. We have oatmeal, plain grits. We have whole grain breakfast cereals. We have different types of sausage. The chicken sausage is leaner. We also have veggie sausage, and you'll see here that I wrote that it has a third of the regular calories. A third of the calories of regular sausage, and it has no grams of saturated fat, where the regular sausage is pretty high in saturated fat. And saturated fat is the type of fat that raises our cholesterol levels and helps increase disease risk for cardiovascular disease. So if you never tried the veggie sausage, you should try it. It tastes pretty, actually, it's really, really good. It's got sort of a nice kick to it. It's savory. And when you put it on a breakfast sandwich, a lot of people can't even tell that it's not the regular sausage. We do have yogurt and Greek yogurt. Fresh fruit smoothies at ECV are available, it's available all day long. They are, yes, made with real fruit, and they're made with a Greek yogurt base in the, the strawberry landslide and the peanut butter one. And then we do have bagels, some whole wheat bagels. And then these are the high fiber cereals that are about to come back in the dining halls in just a few weeks. We're hoping to bring back more cereal options by the end of March. And so you'll see some of these other options coming back. So for breakfast, you really want to try to aim for 3 food groups. You want to make sure that you're getting maybe in this picture here, there's a whole grain with the cereal, the fruit, and then there's a dairy source there with the soy milk. So that's 3 food groups. Or you could do something like eggs, the hash browns, and apple juice. So you get fruit, eggs, and the hash browns are like a starchy vegetable. And yes, the round hash browns are actually heart healthy because we bake them. Now the shredded ones and the cubed hash browns are fried, so they're not heart healthy. They have too much oil, but the round hash browns are. So if you're really just in the mood for a hash brown, that's the way to go. Oatmeal, you could have oatmeal, put some fresh fruit on it, or you could have fruit on the side, have it with some milk. I like to take the milk and pour it in my oatmeal, and then I like to cut up a banana and stir it around, and then I don't even need brown sugar because the banana sweetens the oatmeal, and the milk sweetens it just slightly too. And so if you are not coming to the dining hall in the mornings, maybe you just want you have a commuter meal plan, or you just like it having it in your apartment or your dorm. There's different things that you can do. The picture at the top is a picture of overnight oats. This is really trendy and really popular. You can find a million recipes online for it. What you do is you just take some type of bowl, or here they do the cute mason jars, and you put oatmeal in the jar, and then you add your favorite milk, coconut milk, soy milk, rice milk, whatever. And then you can add different toppings. So here they have things like pumpkin seeds, cranberries, fruit, almonds, cinnamon. You can do peanut butter. chia seeds, you name it, and you can put whatever you want in there. And it's great because the oatmeals expand overnight. You don't have to do any work. It's really, really fast. And usually everyone can find a combination that they love. You could also do fruit and yogurt. That's really, really fast, simple, that you can just keep in your room. You can do whole grain toaster waffles. You can find in the freezer section. Put some yogurt on that with some fruit. You can do applesauce on top of waffles or pancakes instead of syrup. You can also do oatmeal. Okay, let's see. So I had someone raise their hand. Let's see. So someone asked about the kashi cereal. Yes, they're hoping to bring that one back. And they're also hoping to bring back granola. So anyone is wondering about that. Okay. Was that your question, the person that raised their hand? I sure hope so. If not, okay, so we have some good questions coming. So I'm going to make sure that we save time towards the end so that we can get to these questions. All right, so some tips for lunch. All the hummus that we make is made from scratch and Snelling every single day. And then all the deli meats that we serve are lean, which means that they're lower in fat. Every dining hall has the bean of the day and brown rice. It's not just Summit at their vegetarian line. All of the dining halls have it. All the dining halls also have grill lines where you can get a vegan burger or a grilled chicken breast. And you can use that, just the breast, and put it on top of something, or you could turn it into a sandwich. All the dining halls have salads where you can build your own salad bar. We do have vinegar and olive oil cups now so that you can make your own dressing if that's what you like. That's personally my favorite because I'm not so crazy about the type of dressings that we have right now. But I love that vinegar. The balsamic vinegar is so good. And so I like to drizzle that. I've also had students decide they just want to put some chicken salad on their salad and stir that around and use that as dressing. Or you could do salsa and beans and make like a taco salad that way. Or so especially if you're at O House and they have all those great O Hacienda toppings. And you can also use hummus as a dressing. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but a lot of people like to dip carrots or celery into hummus. And I know that a lot of people will just take hummus and then blend it into their salad as like a salad dressing. The cheeses that are lower fat in the dining halls are the Swiss cheese, mozzarella cheese, and provolone, and then feta. And all of those are naturally lower in fat, so the healthier ones. Special selections every day at Bolton. They have like one entree of the day and a side of the day. It's always heart healthy. And then O House has turkey burgers. A lot of people don't realize that they have that. And then they have a blended burger that's like part beef, part mushroom blend. So it's a lot less calories and a lot less saturated fat. And when you go to the Summit and you're mood for pizza, like you don't have to get the whole pizza. You can ask them for just half. Okay. So if you are not coming to the dining hall for lunch, maybe you're still cooking at home. And so one of the best things you can do is cook something big for lunch or for dinner and then save it the next day for lunch and then bring it to campus with you. Just use it as leftovers. It's a really great solution and helps your wallet because you're not tempted to just run by and grab something off campus or on the way to campus. It's always important to take a break for lunch. Sometimes right now, midterms, we're like studying all day. You go to your Zoom class and you study, and then you Zoom and you just don't even make time. So maybe take those things from the dining halls that are really great for you to keep in your room, like yogurt, the cereal, the milk, a sandwich even. And that way you can have it later and take it with you. Everything's to go this year. So you can take things to go and have it later when you have time so that you can make sure that you're pausing. So, refuel your brain, get up, walk around, get your blood circulating so that you can refill your brain and, wake up, feel energized. Other things that you can do when you're in the dining hall building that box to go is think of, once again, 3 food groups. So here in the picture, we have some brown rice or the rice pilaf, 2 different vegetables, maybe some juice. You could have, and here in this picture, the beans would be the protein, but you could also do, some grilled chicken or salmon on that, or you could do some pasta in the corner. Each corner of your box is half a cup if you fill it like to the top of the little sections, right? If it mounds, then you're getting closer to 3/4 a cup or 1 cup. But if you just put 1 scoop in the dining hall, it's a half a cup, and then they just scoop it in and it fits nicely in there. That's how you know how much you're getting, half a cup, okay? But all the dining halls have things like grilled chicken, and we also have a rotation menu that rotates. And whatever you see at Bolton is the same at Summit for lunch and for dinner. And then what will happen is that the next week or the week before, O House will serve it. So O House always has a different menu than Summit and Bolton, and then they rotate and follow each other so that if you have a favorite, you can hop around and try to follow it from dining hall to dining hall. Summit does have sushi and a toss of the day and the fruit smoothies. Niche has a pizza oven that you can personalize your own pizza. And if you want to make a healthier pizza, then you do like a red sauce or maybe pesto, and then you put lots of vegetables, and then you have that with salad and maybe take half of it home. And that's a great way to eat a healthy balanced meal and still enjoy your favorites like pizza. O House has great stir fry options as well that are pre-made every day, and they also have a lot of burrito line toppings. And their salsa is made from scratch, so it's lower in sodium. It's not as high as some of the canned salsa that you can find from different places around town or at the store. They do have guacamole, which is that heart-healthy fat, and that's a great way to get those beans in. Everybody needs beans twice a week. It's a great fun way to get beans in. And then Bolton has a stir fry line upstairs, lemongrass kitchen, and they'll have a different vegetable every day. They have tofu every day. They're different type, and then they'll have a different protein every single day, and they always have brown rice up there. And then you can also do things like, packing things like pita pockets, or maybe making tuna fish, but instead of making it with mayonnaise, maybe you try it with yogurt, or maybe you make it with avocado, and just try to be creative of how you can get those healthy fats in a way that you think is delicious. And some healthy snack ideas. Once again, try to think of like 3 food groups and not just eat popcorn. Popcorn's a whole grain, but hey, what else could you do with that? And like trail mix is a great, easy way to get some protein from the seeds and the nuts, and you get craisins. But then I also like to tell people, maybe try some wasabi peas in there, or look at some of the dehydrated snap peas or beets that they have at the store, and kind of throw that into your trail mix and make it kind of savory. You can do like stacks of apples with peanut butter, or maybe some sprinkle of oats in there. You can do string cheese and grapes. This is a green pea guacamole because I had a student who worked with me who was allergic to avocado, and they used to love it, but then they became allergic. So they're like, well, I'm going to make green pea guacamole. And then she brought it in and we all tasted it, and it was actually really delicious. This is a whole wheat bagel with, you take cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, and you blend it together, and it's this really high protein calcium spread that you can put on top of toast or bagels. And then if you want it sweet, because this is going to be a little sour from the Greek yogurt, you can put a little honey on top, or just some strawberries, and kind of make it to taste. In the dining halls, the healthier beverages are going to be the filtered and sparkling waters. There's lots of different flavored waters that you can get if that's what you like. We do have 100% fruit juices. We do have some diet sodas, and then the herbal and green teas are some of the healthier beverage options too. When it comes to dinner, my first tip is always think veggies first. So plan your meal according to vegetables, and then build everything afterwards. Now, this is a completely backwards way of thinking. Most people think, what am I in the mood for? Let me go get it. Or they'll think, oh, that chicken looks really good, I'm going to get that. Or I'm in the mood for a burger. Or, oh, I really want beans and rice. And they think of like what they're in the mood for. What I want you to do is walk around the dining hall and kind of like browse, or look it up on Build Your Plate and see what vegetables they have, and say, oh, House has broccoli. Okay, I love broccoli. I'm going to get some broccoli. And then say, well, what goes good with that broccoli? What else could you be eating with it? And so then that helps you make sure you didn't forget the vegetable, because it's really easy to just kind of like, oh, I'm in the mood for this. And they're like, whoops, I've had no vegetables all day, or I haven't had any fruit. So it's important to think, okay, what vegetable is the vegetable today? Spinach. Do I like it? No, I don't. Maybe I should put it in the soup, and I can mix the spinach and soup together, and then it tastes great and it gives it flavor, and then I like it. Because maybe you don't want it plain. And then if you're cooking at home, it's a lot cheaper to make your base of your meal vegetables than it is to make the base of your meal meat. So some examples that I have for you are when you're thinking of things like tacos. You put lots of vegetables in there. It's going to give you lots of flavor. It's going to be delicious, but it doesn't have to just be ground meat and cheese in your taco. Try to put different things. And I put this picture here on purpose because I've known people put apples in their tacos. I know people who put carrots, coleslaw, the sky's the limit. Try it. See, be adventurous, especially if you're cooking with a friend, or if you're trying something at home, or maybe you're trying a new restaurant and they've got something kind of crazy. You could say, hey, can I try a little bit of that on the side, and you sprinkle it on top and then see if you like it or not. If you do stir fry, the number one thing that students usually do, I see them do a lot, is just get beef and rice, or beef and noodles. And so it's really great to make sure you remember vegetables. Get some vegetables on there, flop that ratio so it's not so meat heavy, it's more vegetable heavy, and it really helps with your preventing cardiovascular disease and diabetes and having better blood pressure. So once again, if you want steak, instead of thinking, I'm getting steak and a little potato, I want you to think of, oh, well, maybe I love grilling bell peppers, or, oh, I could have some apples with that. Oh, let me do I have steak, but it's just a part of your plate instead of the whole plate. When it comes to portions, everyone take out your hand and just hold it up and look at it, okay? So your hand is proportioned to your body. So if you're really tall, your hand usually is larger. If you are shorter, then usually your hand is smaller. But whatever it is, even if you're a shorter person with a large hand, you typically means you have larger bones. It's still proportioned for your body and your needs. So what you do is this part right here is fruits or vegetables and meat. So if you're like, how much meat do I need? Right there. And I don't mean real thick, about as thick as your pinky. Okay, and so that's usually about 3 to 4 ounces for most people. I actually have some fake food in my office. So when the pandemic's over, everyone can come and see me. I have lots of fake food. So this is roast beef. Okay, it looks bigger than my palm, but it's also not quite as thick as my pinky. So if it's thinly sliced, sometimes that meat might be a little bigger than your palm. Versus if I have something like fish, it's perfectly fits in my palm for 3 ounces, okay? Once again, it's the perfect thickness of my pinky, okay? And then if you have vegetables, have my broccoli, that's a serving of broccoli, okay? If I've got, fruit and you clench it, you can hold up the fruit and say, oh, that's about 1 serving of fruit. Or here in this picture, it's that's how much ice cream you should have, right? And I actually have ice cream in here too. Or you can call it mashed potatoes, depends on what mood you're in, right? But this is ice cream. And then your tablespoon, this picture says 1 thumb, but for me, it's 2, okay? Here's a tablespoon. Here, my thumbs. You can see it fits perfect in there. So for me, I need 2 of my thumbs. My husband's really tall. It's just 1 of his thumbs. He's a pretty big guy. This is peanut butter. You can see, once again, it's my 2 thumbs worth, okay? And then the tip of your thumb is 1 teaspoon. So this is a teaspoon, and there's the tip of my thumb. So this really helps you if you're trying to you're reading a label and it says 1 teaspoon of oil as a serving. You're well, what does that even look like? And you put it on your frying pan, it pulls up and you're oh, my little thumb. Okay. All right, I see. Or if you're peanut butter, how much peanut butter am I supposed to have? Or if it's chia seeds, you're I don't even know what that's supposed to look like. And you look at the package and it says a tablespoon. Well, this is 1, okay? All right, so the next thing to remember is moderation. So eating healthy is not perfection. I'm gonna say that again. Eating healthy is not perfection. It's eating healthy most of the time. So that means the bulk of your day, the bulk of your week, you're eating your fruits and your vegetables and your protein, and you've got some calcium, and you got some fiber foods in there. You're doing great. But you're gonna want something that doesn't fit in one of those food groups, right? Odds are, you're gonna be in the mood for bacon, okay? You're gonna be in the mood for ice cream or onion rings. So how often should you eat it? So this is an example of a plate. So let's say at breakfast, you're just really in the mood for bacon. All right, fine, get your bacon. Put it in a corner of your plate. And then that way the portion doesn't get out of control. And then the rest of your plate, make something balanced choice with it. So get a fruit. Here I have some eggs. You put a bunch of veggies in, make an omelet. So you get lots of veggies, you got your fruit, and then this is a balanced plate. And it doesn't matter that you ate bacon at all, because this is still considered healthy because most of the plate is nutrient dense. So let's say you're in the mood for onion rings and you're eating fast food, right? You can say, all right, well, maybe I get whole wheat bun and a chicken breast instead of a burger. And that way you don't have too much saturated fat and too much salt and sodium or added sugars, right? You're getting nutrient dense foods. You've got fruit, whole grain, protein, some vegetable, lettuce and tomato. And yeah, sure, you had some onion rings on the side. But if the onion rings is a portion of if you always think of your plate and you say, all right, like a fourth of my plate or a third of my plate will be I like to call it splurge food. I hate calling it people call it cheat foods. No one wants to be a cheater. And once again, healthy eating is not perfection. So when you eat something that's not completely healthy, you don't have to say, well, this is my cheat meal. Okay. You just have to be like, no, this is my little splurge. This is what I was in the mood for. It's part of that mindful, intuitive eating that's really important, that can really help you have health and balance and prevent diseases, maintain healthy weight without going crazy and obsessive and being just miserable and ruled by food choice. So once again, healthiness, most of your plate, and nutrient dense foods, and then you have your little splurge. So for example, maybe you really wanted something with gravy on it. Maybe you really wanted some fried chicken wings. You wanted something fried. Put that on your plate and then brown rice, broccoli, boom, done, balanced, okay? So in conclusion, you really want to look for nutrient dense foods. It's going to enhance our brain and our brains and help our bodies fuel and run efficiently in our memory and our moods and our concentration, as well as making sure we get all of our food groups. And a way to do that is to make sure you just make half your plates fruits and vegetables, and it kind of helps guide you for the rest of the day. And then remember that moderation, it doesn't have to be perfection. And if you want some more nutrition tips, UGA Dining does have some nutrition tips that they'll post. We just came out with a nutrition blog, the Eating Smart blog. So if you go to the dining page, and at the top it says nutrition, and you click on it, it'll say Eating Smart blog. We just started that in the fall, and I'm writing some things. I'm starting to have my interns write some things. So you'll see something from Betsy and probably by the end of the semester on there. So you're going to see some really good tips for how to eat healthy in the dining hall. Another great group to follow in social media are the P&Es. Once again, they're the peer nutrition educators. And this is a picture of their Instagram, and they post a couple times per week. So it's not going to overwhelm you with nutrition information, but it's going to be there to give you realistic, healthy choices for Georgia, specific to eating on campus, around town, or in the dining halls. And right now they're doing it's National Nutrition Month, so they're doing a movement campaign where they're trying to show you how they love to move, and they want you to join in and share with them how you enjoy movement, so that you can also help fight food insecurity. They're doing a campaign where they're trying to get everybody to participate, and then also you have a choice to buy this really cool t-shirt they designed, and all the proceeds go to meal plan scholarships. And so they're hoping to get people to participate with them so they can help, buy a meal plan for somebody who's food insecure. So it's a really good cause. Consider following them. These are the resources for the dietitians on campus. And then these are some of the sources for those websites that I showed you. Some of those pictures came from, but also they have really good, eatright.org has really good recipes and activities, and even videos on how to julienne peppers. And so you've got some really good nutrition tips that you can find by going to some of these websites to help you be balanced. Okay, so now we are going to stop the sharing, and we're going to answer your questions. All right.
I'll go ahead and read them for you, Catherine, to make it easy.
Briar the best.
So our first question was, how about Gatorade and Powerade? Do those have nutrients?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So they do have nutrients because they've been formulated to help you refuel and recover and rehydrate. So they're going to have potassium, magnesium, and sodium. They also have sugar, and they have sugar on purpose. So if you are trying to look for something healthy to drink, go for water. But if you have been playing outside, you've been doing tennis for like an hour and you're really dehydrated, or not dehydrated, but you're wanting to rehydrate, that's where Gatorade comes in. Any exercise that lasts less than an hour, you just need water. If it lasts more than an hour, that's when Gatorade or Powerade can be beneficial. So if you're going to be hiking all day or walking all day, or if you're going to be doing something really competitive, like swimming long distances or doing marathons or things like that, they're perfectly fueled to rehydrate long endurance athletes. So they're meant to have that sugar and those minerals and the sodium so that someone who's running like a half marathon gets a better score, gets a better time, I should say. But if you're just wanting something healthy, drink water.
Okay, the next question was on almond milk. So they were asking, does the current almond milk have a bunch of added sugar?
Yeah, that's a great question. So normally I would know the answer to this because we have it in bulk. This year we have little cartons. And so I'm not really sure how much added sugar is in all the almond milk. So I can tell you
about 12 to 13. I think they're like completely added. Sugar is like 12 grams.
Yeah, the serving dining hall is gone.
Yeah, so if it says 12 or 13, then it would be all added sugar typically is, because if you think about almonds, what they're doing is they're blending the almonds into a powder and adding it to water. So it's really water that then they add calcium to, and then in order to make you like the taste better, they add sugar. So there's no natural sugar from the almonds and almond milk. So what you're getting is just added sugars. Whereas if you do cow milk and you look at the carbohydrate on cow milk, it's about 15 grams, and you'll see sugars is 12. They're not added sugar, it's naturally occurring in the milk. So there's a difference there. And then soy milk is going to have natural sugars, but if it's chocolate soy milk, it's going to have some added. So what you want to look for is that added. And you're supposed to have, let's see, I'm looking at a chart. We're actually going to put a chart up in a couple weeks on how much sugar you need per day. Let's see, it's about 50 to 80 grams of sugar per day, depending on if you're guy or girl and your calorie range and what your nutrient needs are. But it really comes down to having about no more than 13 teaspoons. And you can be like, well, what in the world does that mean? So 1 teaspoon, so remember like your tip of your thumb, is going to be 4 grams of sugar. Okay, so if that almond milk, for example, has 12 grams of sugar, that means they put 3 of these in there. So some people prefer to drink plain almond milk, get a packet of sugar, put it in themselves, because it's only 1 teaspoon of sugar that way versus 3 from what the company is doing. The same thing with sweet tea. Sweet tea for 12 ounces is usually 9 of these. Whereas most people, if they're drinking unsweet tea, and I'll say, how many sugar packets would you put in? Most of the time they're like, oh, I like it real sweet, I'll put 4. Maybe I'll do 5. Well,
so like the 50 to 80 grams of sugar, is that with the fruits included, or because the fruits aren't processed sugar, it would just be 50 to 80 grams of processed sugar that you could have?
yeah, it's 50 to 80 added. It does not include anything natural, no fruit, no like oatmeal or bread or rice, none of that.
Okay.
Just added.
Because they have the silk almond milk and like the soy milk as well. Both of those have like 12 grams of added sugar. I saw that the whole milk was like 8 grams, but it didn't say added sugars. It just said sugars in general. So that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so for the whole milk, it's just, it's not added. So I actually have some 2% in my office with my little food models. So here it says 12 grams. I don't know if you can see that, probably not, it's probably fuzzy, but 0 grams added sugar. So there's no added sugar, it's just natural.
Okay.
So with that being said, if you are eating lots of fruits and vegetables and like whole grains and fish and all super nutrient dense foods, and the only sugar you had all day was almond milk, like that's fine. Around 10% of your calories can be from added sugar. But if you're eating like Honey Nut Cheerios and then you had like granola bar with some sugar in it and then you had a Coke, well then you don't that Coke has all the sugar you need for the whole day, usually.
So what about the processed sugars makes them so bad compared to the whole fruits? I thought, like, would the sugar be different chemically?
No, so chemically it's not. You know, sugar is going to break down to sugar as sugar. The difference is the added sugar has no other benefit. There's no nutrients that come with it. There's no fiber. There's no antioxidants. There's no vitamins or minerals. It's just added sugar. And like a banana, it's going to have no added sugar, and it might have 30 grams of carbohydrate, but it's also giving you almost all you need, you know, like half your serving of potassium, and it's giving you the type of fiber that the healthy bacteria want. And it's going to give you, you know, it's got other nutrients in there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. That was really in depth, and I think we answered a lot of questions with that one. That one was a really good one. So we had a question about Kashi cereal, if it was coming back anytime, and I can actually chime in on that. We are bringing back a lot of our bulk cereals very soon, within the next couple of weeks. So our plan is to bring them back next week, but we always have to worry about whether a company can provide them. So keep an eye out for those. They should be coming back very, very soon. And then we had another question about milk. So how much milk is a healthy amount, and what is the max you can have?
Yeah, so you want about 3 cups per day. When I mean cups, I mean 8 ounces. So this little container right here is like a cup of milk, okay? So you can have 3, no problem. You can actually have a little bit more, but if you start getting too high levels of calcium, it actually can increase your risk of prostate cancer in men. So you don't want to have more than like 5 servings a day. But for most people, you just say 3 and you're good. You know, the yogurt in the dining hall, those containers are 6 ounces. That's not quite 1 serving. So if you had 2 yogurt, you'd be getting 1.5 cups, because 6 plus 6 is 12, and that's 1.5 cups. Okay, so for most people, you could have like milk yogurt, and then you might get some calcium in your food that way. Or you could have like milk and yogurt, and you'd still be just like a hair over, but you wouldn't be too far over. You just don't want to really do more than like 5 servings.
So I guess eating 3 Chobanis a day isn't a good move.
Well, 3 Chobanis, so that's like 6 times 3, that's 18. So you're like at a little over 2 servings. That's actually fine. You're still within your recommendation. So if you like Chobani, eat 3, that's fine. If that's how you like to get your milk. Some people really like string cheese, or they put cheese on things. The soy milks, I know we were talking about the added sugar. The benefit they do have is that one of the containers of soy milk has half the calcium you need for the whole day if you're 19 and 19 to 30. If you're 18, you actually need more calcium than a 19-year-old, and so it wouldn't be half.
All right, well, I think we've answered all the questions, and we're actually a little bit after the time. So to be respectful of everybody's time, I think we can wrap it up here. If you want to have some closing remarks, Catherine.
Yeah, so if you have any questions between now and next week, my email is my last name. It's ingerson@uga.edu. You can find my contact information on the website. Just let me know, if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want us to talk about something in particular over the next few weeks. And in the meantime, Betsy and Mariah are going to be here with me next week, and we're actually going to have Betsy teach so she can earn some of those dietetic hours of training. So everybody have a good night, okay?